Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gitte Mary and I have talked in length about period products on this platform, but it's been a while since I actually talked about them. So I have a whole playlist ranging from reviews of period products to talking about the routines, etc., how to use them, beginner stuff, all that jazz. However, a lot of new people have joined the community since I started talking about menstrual products. So I thought I wanted to do another video where I talked about period products, but specifically where I talk about myths related to period products, because I see a lot of misconceptions, both roaming in my own comment sections as well as when I talk to people about them. If you're menstruating yourself or if you're seeking out information about periods on the behalf of people in your life, watch this video. Let's talk about these myths and let's make sure that they are not widely spread. Anyway, I think it's important to talk about period products in terms of sustainability because there's a lot of disposable products related to having your period. An average of 11,000 period products that are disposable are being used by the average menstruating person. So there's a lot of waste to combat here. Let's talk about 9 myths or misconceptions about the menstrual cup. The first one that I've seen, heard, talked about many times, many more times that I can count. I don't think I've actually talked about it online, but it's one of the first reactions that I get when I talk about periods and specifically the menstrual cup, and it's that it's unhygienic and it's gross. I think there are several layers to this. First of all, there is absolutely a layer of periods being gross overall, which I definitely have a problem with. It's a completely natural thing. Periods are an absolutely vital part of the health of people with uteruses. So not being able to talk about this or not feeling comfortable talking about this or feeling that it's gross is something that I think everybody should work on. Both people that get periods and also people that don't get periods. So let's just get that one out of the way. The reason why some people think it's unhygienic, or at least some of the reasons that I have heard, unrelated to the fact that they think periods are just gross in general, which is also of course untrue, but specifically that the cup should be more so unhygienic is because the blood is stored in the cup. And one thing that I saw, and one thing that I've dealt with many times, is people's misconception that when you store the blood and the blood is kept in the body, that is unhygienic. However, in contrast to a pad, for instance, the blood runs out into the pad. When blood comes in contact with air, it starts to decompose, basically. It reacts with the air and it makes it smell, it makes it darker, all that kind of stuff. That doesn't happen with the menstrual cup because the blood is still in your body, and furthermore, because the cup creates a vacuum in the cervix with the blood inside the body. The blood will not come in contact with air. Does that make any sense? So it doesn't smell. It's odor free because the blood hasn't come in contact with air. It's just like if the blood was in your body, which is literally what it is. It is in no way, shape or form more unhygienic to use a menstrual cup. Actually, one could argue that it is more hygienic. A tampon that is often mixed with both cotton, polyester, that can contain a lot of really bad chemicals that are really detrimental to our health. And those chemicals, those materials are absorbed in our body because, hey, polyester and cotton isn't a sterile product in the same way. So it's actually more hygienic, just letting it be known. Another thing I've seen a lot of people talk about is the fact that you cannot use a menstrual cup if you're a virgin, which is also untrue. People that haven't had intercourse can absolutely still use both the cup and the tampon. Whether or not you're comfortable using internal period products is completely up to you, and if you're more comfortable with pads or period underwear, which is a more sustainable, reusable alternative to pads, that is completely okay. It all depends on your own comfort level. But I think it's really important to sort of really kill off these myths that you can lose your virginity by using a tampon or by using a menstrual cup. Virginity is not a physical thing. It's just something we say to mark the first time people have any kind of sexual relations. Virginity is not an anatomical thing. We often have this misconception that the hymen is completely sealed off, and then you break through the hymen during your first intercourse. However, the hymen is not a sheet that you break through. It's more so a rounded muscle, like a scrunchie, and you can break your hymen by horseback riding, by falling, by doing martial arts, or any other type of exercise. And how tight or how sealed off the hymen is completely random and completely individual. It's not a screen that we break through. If that was the case, how would the blood come out during the period? However, this thing about the hymen being something that we break during our first intercourse is completely made up, and it's honestly quite misogynistic. It's something that honestly pisses me off a little bit, because we hear this in movies and television and media all the time. We still do today. It was really bad even just 10 years ago. Today it's a little bit less. We still hear it all the time. Her hymen was broken, so she wasn't a virgin. It's so mind-numbingly untrue. Google a picture of a hymen, please. It's not a screen. It might be sometimes, which can be quite detrimental actually, but for the most part it looks like a scrunchie, like this. This is the hymen, and a tampon or a menstrual cup won't break it or make you lose your virginity. Nothing except having sexual relations will make you lose your virginity, which is in and of itself also a really weird construct. But I'll save that for another time. Moving on. I can talk about hymens and virginity for days, yo. Okay, this is actually quite controversial, I believe. So one myth that I've heard quite often is that menstrual cups cannot give you toxic shock syndrome, or TSS. When the first popular menstrual cups, like the menstrual cup has been around for a really, really long time. It's not a new invention in any way, shape or form. But when some of the more popular brands of menstrual cups started to market themselves, we also started talking about TSS. And it's something that everybody can get. It's a really serious condition. And some people using especially tampons could be prone to TSS because of the foreign body and the bacteria buildup, etc. Google more if you want to know the specifics about TSS. And a lot of these menstrual cups were talking about TSS and how using a cup could potentially be better, and using a cup would prevent TSS. However, you can still get TSS with a menstrual cup. And today a lot of brands selling menstrual cups are actually saying on their website that if you have already had TSS, that you shouldn't use neither tampons nor menstrual cups or any other type of internal period product, but only external ones, like period pants or pads. If you haven't had TSS, using a menstrual cup is of course completely fine, and the risk of getting TSS is also lower using a menstrual cup if you clean and use the cup correctly, especially like the cleaning part, the washing part. That part's very important. This I've struggled with myself, but I found several solutions for this problem. And it's the myth that you cannot use a menstrual cup if you're in a public bathroom, or you cannot empty the menstrual cup or generally do all the hygienic things that you need to do to a menstrual cup if you're in a public bathroom. And you absolutely can. If I know for a fact I'm going to potentially be changing or emptying my cup in a public bathroom, I will have a water bottle with me, a reusable water bottle with water. So in the case that there isn't a sink and a toilet in the same room, I have another way of cleaning out my menstrual cup. If there is a sink and a toilet in the same room and it's not like those stalls, it's completely fine. It's like doing it at home. Just be sure to wash your hands really, really thoroughly before touching the cup, taking it out, inserting it again, etc. But if you don't have a sink and a toilet in the same room, but just in a little stall, use the water bottle trick and you should be good to go. Another thing I want to talk about is that some people think that you cannot go to the bathroom while you're wearing your menstrual cup, and you absolutely can go to the bathroom. Peeing with a menstrual cup in is no big deal actually, and this is just a little personal experience of mine, but especially on my second day of my period, I am so sore and so crampy that it's easier for me to pee without the cup because of the pressure on my body, and everything is just uncomfortable. So sometimes I actually end up taking the cup out if I have to pee, but anatomically speaking, the cup is in a completely different hole. Like, it's not a problem in that sense. But if you're experiencing cramping, it might be easier to take it out and then go to the bathroom. The same thing goes for number 2, honestly. Again, completely different hole, so it shouldn't be a problem at all. But if you're experiencing cramping or you're feeling pressure or something tightening in that area, it might be helpful to loose yourself up by taking the cup out if you really need to go. But you don't have to. And I have these issues during perhaps a day and a half on my own period. and then everything's fine. I can have the cup in for 6 hours and not really feel it at all. Going to the bathroom just fine. This myth I really want to kill. Some people think that the cup is dirty because it's stained. So especially a lot of the clear silicone menstrual cups end up being stained by the blood over time. But that doesn't mean that the cup is dirty. It can still be absolutely sterile. There are also many ways you can clean the cup if it does get stains. You can use hydrogen peroxide to clean your cup, and it should remove any stains that might bother you. Last myth is that the cup works the same for everybody. That is absolutely not the case. Everybody with a uterus and a cervix are built different, and some people have other types of needs. Some people have heavier flows, some people have longer cervixes, shorter cervixes, wider cervixes. I am tired of saying cervixes. Anyway, the cup is different for everybody and works differently for everybody. The cup also comes in different sizes, so depending on both flow and childbirthing history, you might need a bigger or a larger cup. That's just all it is. But I think there are more things to this myth than just the size of the cup. It took me several months back in 2016 to learn how to use the cup. I was so intimidated by it because I have never really used tampons. So using an internal product like this was actually quite intimidating. And if you're intimidated by the cup as well, don't worry, you can still absolutely learn how to use it, even if you have really bad first experiences with it. I started using it for a couple of hours, then I took it out and used my other period products, and slowly I got more and more accustomed to using it. Some people have really bad cramps, which means that the cup can be uncomfortable. That's completely okay. Again, you can learn how to use it, and you can learn sort of what folding methods works the best for you, but every experience is different. It's really hard to say a universal thing about the experience of using something that goes in your body like this, because our experiences are different. Our ways of being in the world are different, and that's just how it is. I think I just really want to highlight that even if you have bad first experiences, you can absolutely bounce back from it and keep learning how to use it. Take small tiny steps, and it's very possible that it will become easier and easier to use. However, if you're really not about that menstrual cup jam, it's not the only sustainable period product. There are so many other types of products that you can use, like period pants or reusable pads, reusable tampons. There are many other ways of going about a zero waste sustainable period. So you don't have to use the cup if you really don't want to. You don't have to do anything if you really don't want to. Anyway, I hope this helped out. I would have loved to have a video like this when I started out, which has sort of been the lens I have tried to tackle this issue from. I think something like this is deeply personal, and it can be really uncomfortable to reach out and ask for advice from people around you. So I hope if you're struggling with these things and with products like this and you want to be better, but it's really difficult, I hope this provided you with some kind of guidance or with some kind of calm. Thank you so much for watching. I have left some links to some resources down below, both if you want to check out which cups I recommend, as well as information on how to use cups, as well as other sustainable period products. Thank you so much for watching. Have an amazing day. I will see you guys next time, and take really good care of yourselves. Until then, bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green zero waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!